You're not manifesting wrong. It's probably a case of your subconscious mind not having caught up yet. The resistance is probably still there, and everyone has a different starting point, so you don't need to rush it. And I'm going to give you guys advice today in what is going to be a very reassuring video, comforting, hopefully informative, educational video. So remember that it's not failure, it's just resistance. And I'm going to delve a lot deeper into this topic and explain exactly what that entails and how to actually resolve it and jump over that hurdle. Welcome back to this video, guys, and welcome to any new viewers. I'm a manifestation coach, so on screen before I go into every topic, I pop on screen all my information and how to get one-to-one support, because I know people have loads of questions. So either it's through my very affordable monthly membership, which you can sign up just for 1 month to test it out. You don't have to continue as an ongoing client, but, well, yeah, client member, but I do offer new monthly exclusive content. You get a Q&A every single month, so it is worth signing up as an ongoing LOA coaching darling. But I also offer one-to-one coaching, so if you want that direct support where we delve deep into all your questions and your full manifestation, all the info's in the description box as well. And yeah, now let's start the video. If you're trying to manifest, but you still have unresolved doubt or maybe fear from the past experiences, fear of the unknown, which is very normal, your conscious mind will try and the subconscious as well, actually, will try and answer all questions, not leave anything to the unknown. In general, if you ever experience anxiety, for example, you'll know that not knowing how something's going to go, that's usually where fear or doubt or questions come up. And if there's unresolved issues, maybe with a specific person or just to do with self-concept in some way about what you can or can't achieve easily, and that can very easily feed into your manifestation experience. So if you don't address it and then it keeps coming up and you're at least, not applying a mental diet or flipping it around, or even just being aware of it and kind of regulating and changing those patterns, it is going to slow things down. It is going to have an effect on your manifestation, unfortunately. Everyone actually starts with a different baseline of resistance and a different starting point, as I said. So if you have a lot of strong resistance, it does make sense. You have to acknowledge that it could take slightly longer, or it might not be a really quick physical manifestation. That's not to say the movement or shifts aren't happening, obviously not. But, the actual full physical conforming of whatever it is you're manifesting, even if it's something intangible, that full result may not come in for a little bit of time. It really does tie into any past conditioning and, mental conditioning, social conditioning that your mind has held on to. So if you've had a lot of negative circumstances to do with what you're manifesting, there is a possibility it's still lingering. It's still kind of the remnants are playing out in your 3D reality. And it's not a bad thing that's going to stop you from manifesting, but it does hinder it and slow it down a little bit. It's just little jumping blocks that you have to maybe slow down and little hurdles to jump over. To analogize it, imagine like a relay race, and you have to pause a little bit, maybe in comparison to other people, but everyone's doing their own race, and everyone is going to finish the race at their own pace, but you have these little extra hurdles at the beginning. You're just jumping over those, and once you get over those, you kind of unravel it, you change your thought patterns, going back into the actual practice of manifesting now, then you're making amazing progress and you're removing that. You're erasing those negative thoughts, negative patterns that have been learned over time. Also remember that the 3D reality, whatever it is showing, it's not proof. It's not an objective reality. It's not an objective truth. It's not proof of where your manifestation may or may not be. Yes, obviously it means your manifestation hasn't fully conformed because it's not physically here yet, but that doesn't mean it won't arrive tomorrow. You should always keep that possibility open. It could arrive at any moment. It's not that it has to take a really long time or you struggle or it's really difficult just for you. It can happen at any moment as long as you persist and you do put in the effort. But remember, it's not the be all end all. It's not the objective overall proof or truth of things. And it really just mirrors your dominant reality, your dominant internal reality. Where has your mindset been? Where have the majority of your thoughts been? Positive, negative, questioning things, that will tell you where you are right now, how far into the manifesting journey, more or less you might be. So remember, again, with your subconscious mind, it's not that it completely rejects it, but it takes a little bit more time for it to start to accept it. It's like you're trying to convince someone extremely skeptical, where they've lived their life we're doing an analogy again, where they've lived their life a certain way and you're trying to convince them of a new opinion or a new way of life, it's going to take a lot of repetition. It's going to take a lot to completely change their mind and have them adopt this new belief and be confident in that. That's kind of how your subconscious is, which is a good thing, because 1 or 2 negative thoughts likewise isn't going to suddenly shift all your beliefs or ruin your manifestation. So the subconscious won't exactly reject, you know, the new beliefs and essentially your affirmations, but it's going to take more time to accept them. And even though it's obviously something you want, it's something you desire and you have focused on, if you don't convince your subconscious and be very persistent and consistent with telling it, this is my reality, this is my life, this is what I have in my life, then it's unfamiliar to it. It's something new, it's from the unknown. It's not what is accepted currently as a fact or belief or assumption in the subconscious mind. You still need to apply a little bit more repetition at least before it starts to accept and say, oh yeah, we are with SP. We do look amazing. We do have our dream figure, you know, that kind of thing. Whatever your manifestation is, it's going to take a little bit more repetition, because everyone does start from different levels of resistance. But if it's like a large end goal that encompasses a huge part of your life, it probably is going to take a little bit more time. So if you're stuck in that mode of, you know, feeding still from the old story and kind of like a survival mode of maybe, protection from the ego, whatever it may be, to avoid rejection, you know, fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of suddenly getting your manifestation, what that might actually be like. If you're stuck in that survival mode of, you know, holding on to everything that's happened up till now and trying to protect yourself, essentially subconsciously, because obviously you wouldn't knowingly want to stop your manifestation, but those thoughts do filter into the conscious mind. And if you do get stuck in that way of thinking, then it does temporarily block that receiving. So it blocks your physical reality and you essentially from fully physically receiving your end result in your reality. So you want to be aware of that, because you don't want to cause any more delays in the 3D. If you don't have your manifestation and it's been a significant period of time, all the reasons I'm talking about today, there's a good chance these are why. So you want to be, you know, focused on what kind of thoughts you're thinking, not, you know, but the 3D showed me this, the 3D showed me that. What are you thinking? What's been your mental reaction to those things? That's really where the, you know, the checklist comes in. So basically, when your manifestation and that new reality that you're creating starts to feel more real, you start to kind of accept it, kind of believe it. It's starting to ingrain into your mind. You're feeling the shifts internally. You feel good about it. You feel excited. You feel hopeful. All of those are signals that it is working, that it is conforming your mind. And when that starts to happen, the manifestation starts to become physically real. The manifestation and your physical reality and that quantum shift essentially can only happen when your mind starts to accept it. So when your thought patterns change, you're literally changing your neural pathways, everything internally for you is starting to shift. That's literally showing you that the quantum shift is going to be happening. But manifestation can't fully materialize until you start to get to that point. So it is all about building that inner conditioning first. The external follows the internal, as I've said in many of my videos. So it's not whatever is happening externally is, you know, the be all end all. It is an indication. I'm not saying it means absolutely nothing. It's either, you know, you can understand from that maybe the 3D has been delayed and that, you know, as expected, your thoughts don't instantly translate into a mirror reflection in your physical reality, or that maybe you're still holding on to the old story a little bit. There are reasons why, obviously, your external reality shows things. It's not completely arbitrary, but that doesn't mean you hold on to it, or that you should assume, oh, this means it's ruined, it's so difficult, I've done it all wrong, nothing's happening. That's not what it means at all. Absolutely not. There's a really strong chance that every one of you guys watching this video has created movement in your manifestation. If you are putting effort in it, it's impossible for nothing to be shifting. Having said that, you do need to work on the internal and take that as the kind of main point to focus on and try to disengage a little bit from the external. Now, I did touch on this a little bit earlier, but I also want to say, obviously, because we're tying into, you know, the analogy of a race and how everyone has a slightly different experience. You know, if people are starting from a more positive, healthy starting point, especially in a relationship with an SP, for example, even if maybe you haven't dated, but you're starting from a good, confident point, yeah, those people are probably going to manifest a lot faster, and it could be you. But it's also important not to compare, not to shame yourself, not to, get into a victim mindset or even like self-blame, because that's not going to help. Try and learn from it. Maybe, understand and be self-aware enough to understand, okay, my thoughts haven't been good in this area, let me improve like this. So you learn from it, and then you can instantly start to implement those shifts. But don't compare. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. They're not living your life, you are. It's your reality. You're at the center of your own reality. You don't need to compare and worry about what other people are doing in their journey. If they manifested in 2 days, amazing. Use that as inspiration and motivation. But if it's taking you a little bit longer, it doesn't matter. It's your own experience. You need to learn and build from that. You cannot force everything to physically shift. So to get to that kind of really stable internal foundation, the inner reality, it's literally inner conversations, mental diet, getting your thoughts in alignment as best as you can with the reality that you want. So, letting go of any negativity and trying to think from the version of your new reality. That's what's going to build up that stability and start to shift the results, because it all does start from the foundation you're creating with your thoughts. So really focus on the idea of becoming the version of you who has it. Because again, it's the internal first, followed by the external. A couple more reassuring points, again, tying it back to quantum realities. All outcomes already exist. I personally like to also believe in the connection with that to God. I personally have religious beliefs, but you don't have to tie that in, but you can if you do, because I have seen questions like this in comments come up before. But yeah, they are not mutually exclusive. You can absolutely have both beliefs. And, essentially, yeah, all outcomes, all realities, all possibilities already exist. There's nothing impossible for you that you couldn't achieve. So you're not chasing after your results. You're not trying to force the 3D to conform. You're not trying to force a person to conform. You're just aligning with the version of you who is in that reality. You're aligning and becoming and literally like shifting, morphing, whatever, into the version of you from another future that already exists. It's already on the same timeline, and you're just becoming her, him, her, whoever. You are becoming that person, that version of you. So choosing the version of you who is in alignment with that already, and you're just slowly becoming that with repetition, with practice, with consistency. So remember, you want to remove that anchor and that connection that you're still holding on to. You haven't cut those ties yet to the old reality, the version where you don't have it, where you're in lack, where you're not fulfilled and satisfied. You're removing the anchor that is tying you to the old reality, and that all comes internally and from shifting around the way you think. So remember, it all starts with that internal shift, and you control it yourself. So that is going to be today's video. I hope it was beneficial and explained a few more 3D circumstance things to you guys, and just gave you a good overview of the way the process works. If you enjoyed this, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. I'd love to see you guys for my next upload, which will be very, very soon. And I'll see you next time.